Hello, everyone. Today is the Nameless One, and today we are here with Ballistic, Sawtooth,
Hello.
Fair, Moop, Cameo, and Ellison Page will be joining us a little bit later. Um, we are going to be continuing the Lost Memories, the Peacemakers campaign. I can brain. I know it's questionable, but I can do it.
Woohoo!
So we're gonna go ahead and start off with a recap. So I know that everybody remembers what happened last session.
I died and undied.
We
Kind of.
frickin' finished
I
off
was
the guy.
dead, but then I lived.
We all died, but we all okay.
Okay, actually, I didn't die. I was so close to dying twice, but I didn't die.
Well,
let's
technically I
see.
didn't die, but I was more like just stoned.
I'm to be honest, I was 6 hit points away from freaking dying at
Oh
one
my
point.
gosh. Well, okay. So, Quillian was turned to stone, and Leo had been just like straight up incinerated,
It was rad, dude.
Vaporized, disintegrated,
reduced
turned
to atoms.
dust.
So, we had done the previous 2 sessions weakening the guy, so at least he was on his last steps. So I had the bright idea to use my amulet to absorb all the magic out of the pylons, which is one of the defenses against Soul Tenebris. Although I sort of bit off more than I can chew, and became undead.
And now you undead.
That.
Yeah.
That also sent Professor Bea Holden into a frenzy. Like, he was really angry. So the
Apparently,
rest
he grew back his eye stalks, and he was able to do that the whole time.
yeah, he was shooting laser beams of petrification and all the bad stuff left and right. It was pretty crazy.
What we've learned is that we don't go after the pylon until after they're dead.
Possibly, yes. But at the same time, I got a huge charge from that pylon and used it to do a firebolt spell. That
You overcharged it and killed yourself, technically.
yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, but
Sawtooth is a lich now.
And the cool thing about that is since I did the final blow, once Beholden died, the soul went into my amulet automatically. So I didn't. There was no getting away like Daybreaker and all the other ones I wanted to steal the magic from.
So I want
yeah.
to point out that's different than the magical drain. The souls being taken. It's not.
Your amulet is now your phylactery.
Yes.
It's still like powering up though, right? So it's kind of the same concept.
It powers up in the mechanics of the lich stuff that I sent you. But the supercharge that you guys have used on bosses before, that's a different thing.
Okay. How is it different?
It's the difference between like the using the magical item and having your phylactery.
So it's a difference in perspective. Like, I'm sort of more central to the, since my soul is in the thing.
Yeah, your amulet is now doubling as basically 2 different items, the phylactery and the actual like amulet of avarice. So, for all intents and purposes, you treat it as a completely separate item when you're referring to the phylactery, and the amulet of avarice is treated differently as well.
Wait, what if the amulet of avarice is actually Grogar's phylactery, and I died and he used my soul as a vessel, my body as a vessel after that?
So
Bruh.
I want to say that I've already told you that it is a prototype of Grogar's bell.
Everybody get your tinfoil hats out.
All right. That is true. Okay.
So it would be different than what you're looking for
Okay.
in it. So We're gonna go ahead and get started. While we're waiting for the others, we're gonna do a few quick, easy things. Things like let's see. You can do food stuff. You can do some shopping. You can do some exploration. There are things that will happen around the area that you are in already. For the most part, we're going to stick to Discord, use Dice Maiden, unless we get into combat, at which point I will probably throw up generic map and have you guys fight on that.
Let's avoid that if possible.
If possible, not always possible. Especially
Sure.
with y'all's mouths.
Well, now that
Yeah.
Sawtooth is lich, he is wise and will refrain from mistakes.
I highly
Everybody
doubt
take note of
that.
this moment where he eats his own words in the future.
We'll see about that.
So,
Yeah, we'll probably see that in this session.
so bets are this session he puts his hoof in his mouth.
No, why do you guys?
I mean,
No, we shouldn't
I'm
bet about that because it
hoping he
happens
doesn't.
every. I mean, we shouldn't bet about that because that happens every session.
It does not. I've been pretty smart recently.
I mean,
actually.
the past
You have to-
3 sessions he's been too busy getting his ass beat. So
I literally finished off the Beholder. Like,
That doesn't involve talking though.
I mean, there
On
was
top
a
That
verbal
word
component to his
charms.
spells.
Well,
yes, that is true.
okay, vocal. I mean, like social talking.
That is true. I really didn't get much good information out of Beholden, Professor Beholden, before he got all mad. But anyway, can we stop doubting my? Can you guys just believe in me for once?
We do believe in you, but we believe in
we
you
do.
for different reasons.
we do believe in you.
Okay.
We just might have our own
perfect timing.
doubts.
We're actually about to start.
Oh,
Oh.
okay. Hey, bitch.
I was about to ask what did I miss, so
We were just
Did
making
the
fun of
debating
Sawtooth.
debating
Yeah.
on whether or not Sawtooth will eat his own words.
Some fun at my expense. You know, the usual.
oh, as always.
Yes.
You know we
Such
love you too.
That's how you know we're really friends.
I suppose.
Yeah. But now, oh, there's one thing I forgot to mention during the recap. I got an A.
Oh yeah, you kidnapped a child. I forgot about that.
I want to point out that it was a hatch your own slave thing, so it wasn't exactly kidnapping.
That's
Okay.
That was
Well,
a moral action. Theft is moral.
Well,
Yeah.
it's still technically kidnapping. It's just a different form of kidnapping.
I would call that
You're kidnapping someone who was already kidnapped.
from her
That's-
perspective or his perspective. I would call that rescuing.
Yeah, absolutely.
From my perspective, it's stealing.
I mean, you aren't wrong. That is a perfectly valid perspective, considering they were being sold at a market and you just kind of yoinked it.
Yeah.
So
I'm not going to let a child be a slave. Fuck that shit.
Well, there are a lot more eggs than just that. So what about all them?
I
Exactly.
could only carry one at a time. You seriously
Exactly.
think I wouldn't go
So
back
does
there?
that mean you plan on going back? If you plan on going back, get me a kinku.
Well, let's stop. Let's just put a break in this this whole mission and just start a nursery and just kidnap all those eggs. Why don't we?
No,
Soul Tenebris can wait. We have bigger eggs to fry. I mean, no.
Fry! Excuse you!
I want to
We
point
are
out
not
that
supposed to fry
both of
the
your
egg!
species, at least in my version of Equestria, come from eggs.
That is, I'm still highly uncomfortable with hippogriffs laying eggs because their lower halves are horses. So I feel like they'd give live birth, but
We
that,
lay eggs when we're in the sea pony form!
okay, but the sea pony form was Okay,
You're forgetting there's whole generations born in... Oh my... You know what? I'm not even going to start
do
this
hippogriffs have
I mean,
cloaca?
go
I need to know.
back
I am not... Nope.
to
Stay
the water
away.
to spawn.
Okay, That's neither here nor there.
That's here now because we have it.
Okay, the egg. Okay, where are we? What are we doing?
I'm gonna go ahead and I'll give you guys like a quick day of like restocking and things like that if you want to try that, and then we'll launch into the other stuff that we have planned.
Is there a place where we could buy healing potions?
You could roll perception.
Okay, because like when I first stocked up for this dungeon, I thought it'd take like a couple weeks, a few months at most. So, I obviously underestimated how many potions I would need. I'm sort of running low. Let me roll.
Running low, so you only have 20 instead of 30.
Actually, I'm down to 7 supreme potions at least.
You realize you have other potions, right? I know you do. I've seen your inventory list.
Only 7 supreme potions.
Yeah, that was like back at the beginning of the campaign. I've used a lot.
I'll make the comment: the supreme potions aren't your only potions, and you should be using the smaller potions when you take minor hits.
Also expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like we've come across a lot of loot, so I have a good amount of gold pieces.
No, some of our party members need pretty much a full re-gear.
Okay, sorry, perception roll. What do you mean other potions though? I don't remember what other potions would I have.
You didn't get any superior, greater, or regular healing potions?
Oh yeah, I have those, but like those don't like. I feel like those don't really do enough.
Did you miss what she said though? You
Yeah.
drink those when you take smaller hits.
Instead of
yeah.
There's a reason why I have a large quantity of the smaller healing potions.
But it takes a whole turn to do those things, and they don't do much damage. So I tend to like
Healing.
If I'm gonna heal, I want to do it all in one turn, or a lot in one turn. Supreme potions don't even cap me off lots of the time.
Well, that's assuming that you actually took a big hit. I mean,
Which
I also want to point out that you're forgetting about one major important thing. Those things are expensive.
Yeah.
And you're in a place that is probably going to mark them all up.
Probably.
Can I at least see what they're going for?
So,
Sorry, perception.
Cameo, for you, you're actually near a fairly sizable lake. This is a fishing district, by the way, that you guys are currently in. Which is why the place that you guys are staying at is called the Dry Dock.
Okay.
A fairly sizable portion of land got pulled up out of the ground. Rivers wouldn't make sense, though, because, where's all that water coming from?
Where did it come from? Where did it go?
Magically generated by one of the mages?
Possibly.
It is a possibility, yes. Same with water elementals, but as far as I'm aware, unless Moon added it and didn't say anything, there is only a lake, and a fairly sizable one.
How do you do rolls in Dice Maiden? It's been a while. I'm sorry.
Explanation point roll, and then whatever number of the dice D, and then the dice number.
Okay, I got a 19, so that's. I probably find some potion stuff nearby if that works, right?
You find an apothecary.
Actually, yes, you do find an apothecary.
What the heck is an apothecary?
A pharmacist.
Oh, okay.
It is being run by something you don't recognize.
I see a lot of that around here. So,
remember, he still has true sight.
Yes, that doesn't tell him what it is.
Do I?
Fair.
So I at this point I have taken on my healthy, happy sawtooth form minus the squid eyes, of course. Those are still there.
So When you walk up, it is a fish thing that is standing at the front of the stall in front of a building that is also marked as apothecary.
Specifically.
What's that?
A healing potion specifically.
You know, you could give me time to finish talking before you start trying to talk over me.
I thought you asked what I said, sorry.
No. What about a fish thing? It says anything about asking you what you said?
You must have cut out on my end or something.
We are a group of confizzled people.
Yeah, I think you cut out.
So as I was saying, there is a bipedal fish thing standing at the apothecary, which is stall, which is in front of the, actual apothecary. That
Okay.
It seems to be the owner of both the building and the stall, and it looks at you kind of bored, but doesn't actually say anything.
Do you sell healing potions?
It nods.
How much?
It gives you a look that very obviously says, Are you stupid?"
Is there like a big sign with all the prices that I'm not seeing?
No, you're asking. Remember, we were just talking about it. How many types of healing potion are there?
Well, I'll make the comment. Basic healing potions are called healing potions. They can make the assumption that he's asking for healing potions.
Oh, so I should be specific. I'm not going to use these. Maybe I will. Supreme potions. How much are the supreme potions?
Let me have my Kuoto be in a bad mood. Thank you.
Okay.
So, what were you saying?
Me?
Yes, you.
Supreme potions, I specify.
Okay. It thumps 4 of them onto the thing, points at one, and holds up 3 fingers, and then it holds up 2 fists.
As I have some gold here.
Hang on. I think he's talking in sign language.
Does anyone here know fish fin language?
300 gold.
100.
For one of them or for all 4?
He points
One.
at one and nods.
For one, 300 gold. So that's 1,200 gold for 4 supreme potions. That is a pretty big markup. Can I get 2 for 600?
He looks at you incredulously and nods slowly.
So I put 600 gold pieces on the table.
He slides you the 2 potions.
All right. Pleasure doing business with you. And then I
It opens its mouth and says something, but it sounds like a cross between somebody dying and what you would like drowning and what you would imagine a fish would make if it could actually make noise.
I mean, I've seen it all already, so I don't think Sawtooth is very phased.
I mean,
So
it
it goes
gives you
back
an
to-
explanation of why it was trying to do sign language.
That okay. I don't blame them now. All right. So I go back to rejoin with the group.
So, who else is doing things? Also, I need you to roll a Constitution saving throw, Cameo. Or not Constitution, Wisdom saving throw. My bad.
I would say I would go with Leo to get him new armor.
But he's not here. So,
His brain no function.
so Cameo, you decide to go swimming. Well, but what you don't realize is somebody else owns this lake, and they're looking at you now, and you can feel the to describe the feeling as tentacles through your brain would be the only way you could like aptly describe what you just felt sensation wise. Now roll a Constitution saving throw.
And back.
Hey.
So
Oof.
you start vomiting violently, and
Oh no.
out comes a small octopus.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, well. Oh, 21. That wasn't there before.
Also,
Was,
looking at your sudden passenger, you notice down in the water. Roll perception. Right now, it's just seems like a dull glow.
I'm curious, is he a hippogriff or sea pony form right now?
Sea pony. It would be sea pony.
Alright, well, hippogriffs can swim too, just not as well.
It makes more sense for sea pony though.
That's true. That is true.
So, looking down into the water, you see an absolutely massive eye staring back at you.
Oh,
It is a very octopus-looking eye.
Oh.
I apologize. And say I'll be on my way.
Yes. Say hello to the Kraken.
oh.
Sawtooth, you've already met the Kraken. You don't have to sound so surprised.
Yeah, the two of us met almost together.
Yeah, I know, but
The
I don't
temple
think
you
it can
guys
cure it.
infiltrated is directly bordering that lake. So,
Okay.
Just a little side notes. I pat the little octopus as I leave. Pat, pat.
you hear a deep sort of groaning noise from the water that almost seems approving.
The vibes are interesting.
I nod and then I'm fully out.
So, anybody else plan to do anything in the market?
Hmm.
Not that I
Well-
can think of at the moment.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and shuffle y'all off back to the dry dock. Excuse me. And we're going to have everybody do the food or whatever, if they're gonna do the food. And then you guys can all shuffle off to bed.
Okay.
Yes.
I have a question about lichdom. Is Sawtooth still capable of hunger?
You're capable of eating, you do not feel hungry.
Yeah, you don't feel hungry or sleepy, but you
At this point,
like outside.
At this point, you would be doing it more out of habit than actual need. That kind of like, you've lost what it is that makes it you, so you start doing the things that you would do anyways out of habit to kind of keep your sanity together. So things like going to bed and eating dinner. So technically you don't need those, but you know, you're currently like in the process. Like you jumped really far into lichdom to start with, because you went from first to second level in basically the same session.
was interesting. Yeah.
Can I borrow some silver pieces? I'm really craving some girl's deal right now.
Yeah, sure, I got you.
I'm pretty sure.
Buy food for the
See,
Nameless one.
yeah.
Pretty sure the three of us would be eating the same
If
thing.
you look in the pinned messages, you guys have options for both drinks and food. So if you guys want to get
I think
I will
alcohol
be
as well.
ordering. I will be ordering the grilled eel
yeah, it's.
as well as some dwarven fire.
Did he just unpin the?
He moved it farther up. So it's,
Yeah, that's what I was doing, so everybody can just jump to it.
Undead options: substitute sauce or broth for blood. I
I don't know what this 12 was for.
And I'm gonna go ahead and do a bread bowl with the dream drought.
Okay.
I would like
Chicken
some glitter
angel.
tea with the grilled eel.
The dream drought doesn't have a price next to it.
I believe it was like 5 electrum or something dumb like that.
So half a or 5 electrum. That's 2.5 gold. That's
Is it?
expensive.
Yeah, go with 4 silver. And
So I'm
give me
spending 5 silver.
just a second to open up the drinks menu on my end, because I have more that needs to be done.
And I'm assuming I should do a con save.
Wait until I check it. Which one did you get?
The dream drought.
Okay. Yes, go ahead and roll your con save.
That-
Yay.
Well then,
Oh.
Good
Okay.
job. You are now passed out on the floor.
Neat.
Okay now? Did
One
the,
drink, and that's all it took.
do they normally pass out that fast from a single drink?
Well,
Neither.
Cameo, we're about to find out if you do the same.
Well, yeah, because I've never had this before, so I wouldn't be surprised if I pass out. But shit. First time for everything.
Fair. While she's rolling, you need to put what drink you bought.
This is also a wisdom save on a side note. I'm asking.
Fair.
No, it's if it's alcohol, it's a
Constitution, unless I specify otherwise. Fair, you didn't pass. You were very, very, very drunk.
Good.
you're very drunk. I'm plastered.
Why are we doing this to ourselves again? Wait a second. Am I capable of getting drunk?
No.
Definitely.
If I
get
remember
one,
correctly,
figure it
you
out.
said you were immune to the poison debuff.
Yes.
Liquid death, please.
Oh god.
I would also say, let's see, liquid death.
If I remember correctly, liquid death is one of the ones that you don't have to pay for if you're able to drink it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you drink the liquid death. It tastes a bit musty. Let's see. So for
If you mean back at the end, I'm pretty sure our tavern.
You're good, Ellis, and the glitter tea.
Can I get a drink?
No, Quillian, you're underage.
That's perfectly fine.
All right. So,
yes, you get a drink.
I would like to get a sun drop.
I tell the barkeep to ID him first.
Yeah, Kaya needs
This
to
is an
resolve
evil
the-
place. Do you think they're gonna care?
Well,
Yeah.
do they care?
The barkeeper raises a froggy eyebrow and goes, "What ID?"
Oh. Okay. Just don't do it, Quillian. Trust me. You look at.
So
look
do I
at-
roll Constitution as well?
Yes, you will roll Constitution. And you said you were
Okay.
getting the sun drop?
Yeah. And I accidentally did the wrong thing. 1 second.
Smooth.
Quillian, do you want to join Solar on
8.
the floor, passed out? Because that's what's about to happen.
I think
No,
that's
but
exactly.
you're not passed out.
Oh,
I see rainbows.
You're also glowing.
Sparkly.
Why do
What-
you always
what
do
hap-
this?
what happened to Cameo?
Yeah, Cameo's actually drunker than Quillian somehow,
Can I order another?
but hasn't passed out.
Quillian,
that's
come
about-
over here.
What Moon just said is about their stance on it.
Oh, okay.
Can I order another? I really want another.
Quillian, come here. Come here. Come here.
I want to have another.
Come here.
Tooth orders a bread bowl, but substituting the stew for blood.
Okay.
So he puts down. Do they do change? If I put down a gold piece, will they give me 3 copper pieces? No, wait, no.
Yes.
Wait, three silver pieces or something like that. Okay, so I put down. Never mind. I put down 2 silver pieces then.
Do you have
Okay.
the silver?
Wait,
So make sure you're paying attention to the bonuses and whatnot.
yeah.
Paige, can you make a con save for me?
I'll just make that. Never mind. I'll just put down 1 gold piece because I don't have silver pieces.
Okay. So you managed to wake up, but you're still wasted.
Like that drink. Can I have another drink, please? Yeah.
Quillian, no. We're trying to save the world over here.
I like it. It's fun. I want
You-
another drink.
You guys also just had a boss fight and are not walking into one, so it's not as bad.
That is. It could be worse. That's true. You know, I never
This is
got to
the
feel.
this is the post-fight relaxing.
Okay, that's fair enough.
I order another
Yeah,
drink.
you know, the realizing what we just went through and getting shit-faced to cope.
So make sure you subtract out the money for it and make another con save.
Because this can only.
Dang,
end
nabbit.
well.
Explanation points.
I believe I just go ahead and head back toward.
You're super wasted.
At this point,
At this point, Ballistic, having not been drinking much, is currently unable to stand by himself.
Yeah.
I'd
this
go
point-
ahead and put 10 gold pieces in like rooms for me and my group.
I let out
I'm
a
going
long
to-
sigh looking at Quillian and just being like,
I'm a
going to go
slippery
ahead.
pony.
pick up Quillian to drag him off to a room.
Whee! Yeah. I'm flying.
So, for majority of the party does the sleep. Paige.
Yes. Go ahead and start the
Are you-
walking of the night.
So
Are you?
you step into the dream realm. It's about the same as the last time you did so, and for the most part, you see the bubbles of dreams. Most of them tend to reflect the alignment of the creature dreaming. So, evil aligned creatures have darker colored bubbles, while good aligned creatures, like say Quillian, are like brightly colored and
shimmering white or
things like that. Yeah.
light grays.
As usual, the massive cloud of darkness off in the distance of Tenebrus's central keep.
I start making my way around the dreams, and I poke my head into Staghorn's first.
And Staghorn can take it from here.
I'm actually back home on the mountain shores. The egg is starting to hatch, and it turns out to be a little wispy thingy. It just floats just barely off the ground.
Oh.
I'm all alone on the beach with it, and the waters around us isn't exactly normal. Off the shore, there is red, and it's coming closer and closer. But it isn't necessarily blood. It's just red, a strange off color. Clearly, I don't really seem to notice it, though. I am just focusing on the little baby and trying to come up with names like, I can't call you Carl. That's my last name, so you'll be Coral. That wouldn't work. I've always sucked at this. Now I know why the ones back home would always make fun of me. Okay, yeah, no, I got nothing. I'll probably just name you Quillian Jr. just to mess with Quillian. That's really fun. When the red comes close enough, it steps out as 3 different hippogriffs. 2 of them are skeleton and bloodied. Hurricane and Floodgate and Ocean Mirror. Ocean Mirror and Floodgate were the ones that were skeletons. I'm not really happy seeing any of them. And soon the skies begin to darken as 5 Pegasi come down. 3 of them are skeletons. Storm Hunt, Dancing Winds, Heavy Breeze, Sapphire Skies, and Silence Breaker. Silence and Dancing do not land, and the other 3 are behind Stag. They begin to throw many questions at me, and frankly, the questions go by fast. Storm and Flood, well, their questions seem to lead to things like showing that they're happy. Like, how are you doing? It's been such a long time since we've seen you. We see you got a little one. Who's the lucky one that you finally managed to bang this time? But the others, with the exception of Silence, seem mean and trying to interrogate. That egg clearly isn't yours. Where the hell did you steal it from? Do you not understand you can't be a fucking father? Why do you even bother with this type of shit? I shoot some of them down, pointing out that I can easily be a father. I just have to put the work and effort in. And unlike their lazy asses, I would put in all the effort needed. Just like I did back when, well, they know. But soon, I turn around and come face to face with Silence. And, well, Silence doesn't seem very happy. In fact, he gets very hostile. It doesn't really take much for me to return it. Silence points at the wisp, and I try to hide him away, but Silence just tells him to run, tells us to run. And it seems as if it was instinctual, but I do. I run away with the wisp. I don't bother questioning it. I don't bother saying to fight back. There was no reason to. We run. At this point, the others are chasing us, calling out slurs. Their voices are mixed, muttered. You can't really tell who is saying what at this point. Some of them are talking about how I abandoned them. But I know I didn't. I wasn't the reason. I didn't fall through the sky. I was knocked down. I didn't leave them for the sake of leaving them. I was surrounded. I had no other choice. I would have been killed too. It's just, they don't know what they're talking about. And as it goes on, the memories just seems to warp around them, breaking the reality, showing the playback of what happened, being shot down the dome, and from after facing 3 enemies on his own, falling hard and somehow managing to get through it. But instead of landing on one of the others, I break through the floor, fall into a cave with little Quillian Jr. And despite not feeling it, my wings are now broken. This wouldn't be the first time my wings were broken. It's just one of the most annoying to have my wings broken. As I look up from where I came, there are storm clouds still coming in. And it begins to rain. It shouldn't be surprised, but the place is starting to flood. Trying to get out with the wisp didn't lead to much until I met Floodgate, who was crying and turning into a skeleton as she spoke. It was such a strange thing, since she rarely ever cried. But I'd see her there crying and dying. I did my best, I swear. Hearing her voice break in such a way, just, it was not something I was ready for. Then again, when am I ever ready in reality? I know. And before my very eyes, as she continues to cry, she turns into William. And he's there crying about not wanting to be alone. He doesn't want to die, but he wants everyone else to be safe. And I understand. I've been there too. I'm still there. But the water is becoming too much. I give him a hug and tell Flood to leave with the baby. She still has her wings. She turns back and she can fly out. And she does. I just see them. I watch them leave. Before snapping back to the whole situation of, yeah, no, I could still drown as a hippogriff. I've got to turn back. I've got to get out of here. As the water becomes too much, I turn into a sea pony. It's the easiest thing to do, and I should have done it earlier. I know I call the others idiots all too much, but in reality, I'm no different from them. I'm just as stupid, if not even more. I begin to swim around, and eventually I see Stormhunt. He's tied down and struggling to break free. He's clearly under the waters. The flooding plain is no different. trying to break him out wasn't an easy task. And as I was there struggling to set him free, dancing winds come down. He is flying as if he is in the sky, just normally, and is talking such bullshit. As I sit here struggling to set Storm free. Eventually, I have no other choice. I turn back to a hippogriff and use my claws to break Storm out. And he tries to swim away. But Dancing Winds stops him. And he begins to talk about a battle. The same battle that left him with a leg missing. And how it was stupid that I never realized it was Storm's fault. I mean, was it really? Storm is clearly struggling to breathe. And I'm just confused. I don't even turn back. I can't even tell if I was breathing anymore. As he goes on and on, the memory begins to play in front of us. The area doesn't change, though. It was as if I was just watching it on a giant screen. Storm is outside of the medical tent, pacing back and forth with Dancing and I on the inside. I'm healing Dancing. And frankly, I am beyond pissed off. I know why. Those idiots. Why didn't you call for me or the others? He could have died. They both could have died. But Dancing explains. I couldn't. I had too much blood in my mouth, and I couldn't spit it out, or it would have kept going. True. But why didn't you use the blood to blind the enemy? I did. But once the fucker learned fast and decided to take me from behind, I swear Storm was watching the whole thing. I don't know if he was trapped or what. Trapped. Storm could have been trapped. But that doesn't explain his lack of injuries. Does it? I didn't press on for more questions, but it seems as if now I had the chance to, right? Maybe? I turn to Storm, and as the memory fades, Storm doesn't say anything. He takes the necklace, turning into a sea pony and swimming off. And for a moment, the world feels like it's going black. The panic sets in, and I just don't know what to do. Even though I can swim, even as a hippogriff, I can't swim that well. Our bodies are just not made for this in the long run. And I begin to sink. My name is playing on repeat. And the other two hippogriffs in their sea forms are circling around me, chanting, saying my name over and over as I'm being dragged down. No. And the darkness, it takes a hold. Everything is black. Everything is cold. And I think I wake up. I'm with the Peacemakers again. It was just a dream. It was all just a dream. It wasn't real. I'm with them. And we're gonna be saving the world. Yeah. Yeah. And it seems as if Quillian over there has found Quillian Jr. Oh dear. He may be crying about not being ready for a mini-me, but it doesn't help with the fact that the baby now looks like a little blue version of it, with green specks all over. A happy ending. Together with the family. Take a seat next to Sawtooth. He looks normal-ish, but he turns to me, laughing along. But suddenly he wasn't him anymore. He was undead, and he was silence. And you call me the idiot. Seeing the undead silence lunging at me throws me in place, and everyone else becomes undead as well. I can't do anything.
You see me walk up from behind the group, magic flowing off my horn as the pony lunging towards you is frozen in the air.
What's going on here?
It's a dream.
No, this can't be a dream. I just woke up from a dream.
I walk over and hug you. It's just a dream.
But it feels too real. It feels too real. Sawtooth is already undead. Silence was there in the parade. This is all wrong. This is just let go of me. Explain this.
It's your dream.
Yeah. Then why this? What's this? This is the inn, the tavern, or whatever the fuck we were in just now. We had drinks here earlier today. They're all undead. What the hell happened?
I believe it's your fears trying to catch up with you.
What fear?
I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out this myself.
I never feared the undead. I don't get why it would come after me the way it did. I don't get why Sawtooth's gone. I don't. There has to be some bullshit to this. This isn't right. I don't get it. I just
You feel responsible, don't you?
responsible. I did everything I could. What would I be responsible for? I gave them their orders. I did the best I could. I fought by their sides. I'm fighting by your side. By the Peacemakers' side. What would I feel guilty about? I'm making this world a safer place. Why would I be guilty about that?
So you felt like you didn't do enough.
Uh, I I did my best. I walked towards the little undead baby. I'll continue to do my best. I know it's impossible to do anything else other than that.
And what's important is remembering that no matter how hard we try, we can still fail. And it's not always your fault. Situation changes.
I gave them their fucking orders. And they still got caught. At this point, the memory of the parade where the group of my teammates being dragged through the town replays. I told them what to do. And they still got caught.
It's not going to be easy.
What did
It's never
I
going to
do?
be. I give you a hug. And it's not going to be easy, but the important part is to move forward and not let their sacrifices be in vain. If you give in to the fear and the pain, then the enemy already won. And your friends' sacrifices will be for nothing.
Can you even call them my friends?
Friends, your subordinates, your allies.
I may know their names, but I can't even say I know them. What kind of ally am I leaving them? I thought my orders would be enough.
You were cut off from them. You fell from the sky.
I was never enough. As I say this, my holy symbol seems to kind of crack. And the world begins to get darker. There is no specific memory playing, but it feels as if memories are supposed to be around us. But there is just an ever-growing darkness. Just this. Just that's enough. I've always wanted to be more, but I was never enough.
And start showing flashes of. I take control of the dream a little and show flashes of the last few weeks before you showed up to the party. Scenes of my fears when I was still worshipping Celestia. The times in which I blew up attempting to cast magic. And then the moment in which I finally switched over to being a cleric of Luna. Showing the promise I made to her, saying that I would love her as much as I love Celestia. I know what you're going through. And I've made sacrifices as well. No matter what happened before, you can do better. Be better. As I give you a nice tight hug and remend your holy symbol using my magic.
I take it off and I look at it. You know, now that I see how you went from one to another, I guess I should show you how I got to Cadence. I walk away, and the world begins to warp into the Crystal Empire. And Cadence is shown talking to the other people, and there I was, simply just making jewelry. I'm quite far away, just in a shadow. I am surprisingly wearing a lot of clothing, as if to hide the fact that I was a hippogriff. It doesn't help the fact that I did have a type of mask on that hid my beak. And Cadence walks over. She's talking about how amazing the jewelry I have, how amazing it was, and all that. And we get to talking for hours and hours. After a while, Shining Armor comes by with Flurry Heart, who, when she sees me, reaches out for a hug. Cadence encourages me to hug her, because, you know, there's no problem with hugging. And that was the thing. There was no problem with hugging. I feeling the warmth of the little boop in my arms. It felt like something I haven't had in years. And when I heard of the war, heard of the peacemakers, remembering the hug, I wanted to protect that. To protect the love. I can never say if I made the right choice on that. But I know I wanted to be just like Cadence. Show love to everyone. And I guess in a way to be like Flurry Hearts. To be ready to give warm hugs to other people. The world turns into a soft, ever-changing shade of ether. And we're just there with the little baby or rather, the little Quillian Jr. on the side, and Quillian behind us. I just don't know what to say anymore. But I turn to you. I know I'm going to keep fighting. Thank you. I go in to give you a hug.
I give you a hug before leaving the dream.
So as you step out, you see the other orbs of your friends nearby. Which do you choose next?
I poke my head into cloud gazers.
Okay. I wasn't expecting this.
Yep.
Keep you on your toes.
I know. Let's see. As of currently, he would be dreaming about his past a little bit. And you see that he is just rapid images of his past life events and some lingering on a particular unicorn. He, oh man, on the spot. I'm not good with this without being prepared. As the rapid sequence of dreams leads up, it shows that he had lost all of most of his family, including his girlfriend, in his past, and the only one that still lives on to this day is his younger sister, who despises him because of him not being there when she needed him or his family needed him. And it leads up with him being a guard and doing everything from there to meeting the Peacemakers and generally just not showing much concern other than making sure that what he does next is going to keep his sister safe.
Okay. I'm assuming that's it for your dream.
Pretty much. It basically is a repeat for him.
Okay. That's where I leave your dream.
Whose do you step into next?
I think this is when I walk into Sawtooth's.
Sawtooth, you're up.
Alright, so, speaking of flashbacks, in Sawtooth's dream is the throne room of the Crystal Castle. But when it was commanded by the Nightmare Guard Pinkie Pie, when she was hosting her deadly party. You see the Peacemakers of the past surrounding her in combat. But there's two Sawtooths in the room. One appearing youthful, fighting in the throes of battle, and the other appearing as you recognize him today, all decrepit, looking on, disconnected from the scene. The bystander Sawtooth watches attentively, but shows no emotion. As the battle progresses, you see youthful Sawtooth of the past pull out his amulet and prepare his lightning bolt spell. He takes aim at Pinkie, and from the amulet blasts an enormous ray of electricity so wide it encapsulates one of the Peacemakers. a dragon that was standing just too close. Both the dragon and Nightmare Pinky evaporate into thin air. The past Sawtooth, you see his face take on an expression of pure shock. But the onlooker, the old decrepit Sawtooth, only seems frustrated, peeved, like he sneers at his past self, criticizingly.
As I walk up. So that's what happened to Pinkie Pie.
He senses a presence behind him and turns to see Paige. Huh. This is different. I've had this dream 1,000 times, but you've never been in it. He looks to himself. He looks pensively and says, didn't Solar Scripture join the Peacemakers after this battle?
I joined before the dungeon. Just before.
Yeah, it was. Shortly before. This is where Durak died. You heard about that incident, right? They keep bringing it up.
I've heard bits and pieces, but I do not recognize him as much as the rest of the party.
Well, now you've seen him. He was a peacemaker until my careless mistake killed him and cost us one of our fighters. Honestly, I've done more harm than good for the group at this point, and I don't know if I can ever fix that or balance the scales in any way, but I guess I'll try my best.
But you using an artifact without fully understanding what it does?
This was the first time I used it. I'd had it for a while, but never used its full potential. I had recently absorbed the magic from a previous adversary, but I didn't realize just how powerful it was. This was a bit of a rude awakening.
Well, you've used it a few times in my presence. No, the pylon was the first time I saw you use it to gather energy.
Something seems different this time. Something stronger, which could be really bad. I've had this dream so many times. I used to call out to myself to try to stop it, but it always ends the same way. But not quite. Sometimes it ends worse, especially now with this new power. I worry more and more that things could end much, much worse. As if on cue, the dream starts to shift. The jagged crystal walls begin to warp and blur. The room spinning as wooden features come into form. Books fly into scattered bookshelves as a library is constructed around them. They watch as some peacemakers disappear and new ones join. Solar sees herself take form in the library. Professor Bea Holden also fades into existence right in front of them. Now, this you should recognize.
I remember this.
You saw me finish this guy off with no collateral damage, but I feel like I got lucky. It could have gotten much worse. At this point, you see what happened again, where Sawtooth pulls out his amulet and casts the fire spell. The laser beams incinerate the beholder. But this time, it's different. Before the peacemakers have the chance to breathe after their battle, magic circles form and glow around Quillian, around Ballfire, Solar, Cloud, around Leo, Lena, and Staghorn. Sawtooth in the vision is scrambling, trying to get a hold of his amulet, fidgeting helplessly in a panic, but it's far beyond his control. Dream, Sawtooth, and the old decrepit Sawtooth looking on, and Paige, they watch as the amulet triggers the magic circles, and all of the Peacemakers, save for Sawtooth, disintegrate into dust in front of them. Sawtooth is left alone in the library, looking furious as the souls of his party flow into his amulet. Something like this could easily have happened, and it could happen soon if I'm not careful. I'm more powerful than ever, but I gotta make sure that I'm only dangerous to the right people, to the people we're trying to stop, and not to our friends, not to Durak, not to you.
And you cast the spell with the thought that this could happen?
Like, I had to do it. You have to understand that Leo was gone. I watched Leo disappear, and I saw Quillian was in stone. I had to end it. And you wouldn't even do anything to stop him. I didn't think we'd make it out alive. It was a chance I had to take.
Remember, I was charmed during that fight.
And it was only a matter of time before he charmed everyone else. I didn't see any other alternative. Desperate times, I guess. You watch Sawtooth, the Dream Sawtooth, alone in the library, talking aloud to himself about what he could have done better, if he had shifted power in a separate direction or altered the spell in some way. Thinking aloud, trying to redo the calculations and improve his future use of the magic.
I hope you figure this out before anything else happens.
Me
So
too.
walk out of your dream. This time walking up it to Fair's dream. Fallfires.
It's your cue, Fair.
Yes, I can hear. So, when you enter Fallfire's dream, you see Fallfire sitting under a tree next to the stream of silence. You can see that he is sitting alone, staring into the stream. You can also see that he doesn't have his wings and is also not wearing his mask. Give me a second.
I guess he had to run off.
I'm assuming something happened. So, brief intermission before he continues his dream.
I wonder if he's actually actively on fire in this dream.
I'm going to say probably not.
Sorry about that. Somebody
Okay,
was walking up
that's
and I didn't want to ruin that moment.
Okay.
So you can see that he doesn't have his wings and is not wearing his mask. When you get closer, you can see the reflection of a Kieran in the water, but it is gruesome and deformed. Suddenly, the figure reaches out and pulls him into the stream. The world around is suddenly changed, a burnt husk of what it used to be. Trees are smoldering, skeletons are burning. The remains of the Kieran village and surrounding forest is transformed into a hellscape. In the center, Rainshine is tethered in magic, tortured and broken. She tries to speak, but her tongue has been cut out, forever silencing the chieftain of the Kieran. Shadowy figures of the Nightmare Guard we have defeated, the scorched remains of Durak and Pinkie Pie, as well as Beholden and other generals of Soul Tenebris encroach your view. as everything turns black. Then all you can see is Soul Tenebrous, his gaze peering deeply into your soul. You hear a voice echoing through the darkness that you can only assume is Soul Tenebrous. This is what happens to those who get in my way. Everything fades away, as suddenly the world is back to how it was when you entered. Fallfire sitting alone under a tree next to the stream of silence. And when you peer into the water, all you can see is Fallfire's own reflection.
Do you wish to do anything further?
Don't know how to interact, so I'm going to step back out.
Okay. So, who next?
I remember hearing about Crimson from Ballistic when did attempt to look for their dreams.
So, as you decide to venture further out to see if you can spot the orb that would represent Crimson's dreams, you look about, and while you see several orbs that could have been a creature that was neither good nor evil, other than your group, you do not see much in the way of good orbs. Of course, outside the barrier, you can, from where you are, you can see distant twinkling lights, but the barrier seems to even encompass this world as well. So, as far as you can see, Crimson's no longer here.
Then I head back and head towards the Shadowfire's dream.
So, as you approach, much like before, it's a very dark, very deeply disturbing for you orb to approach. And as you get closer, you realize that the defenses that you had seen previously seem to be down. Do you approach?
I attempt to poke my head in.
So, as you do so, it's almost like something grabs you and draws you further in, and for a moment everything goes dark, and then you open your eyes, but they're not yours, as you begin to walk forward on hooves that you quickly realize are actually Shadowfire's. As he steps through his dream, he seems almost unaware of your presence. As he looks around, you can hear the crunch of gravel, though nothing is really visible. And as he continues to walk, the scenery changes a bit. Like, you can see the indistinct outlines of what could be columns and pillars of some sort, as his hoof steps change from the crunch of gravel to the sound of some sort of stone beneath. And as he continues to walk, he pauses as he takes a step forward, and there's a splash. Now, he looks down to see a pool of some dark fluid as the darkness around him begins to clear, and he sees that it's blood. As his eyes follow in a sort of distanced curiosity, you feel a shock that resonates not just through his system but through yours, as he sees Lena, or at least her head, laying on the ground in front of him. As he continues to look around, he sees the party members dismembered, disfigured. Some of them sprouted ruby-colored, crystalline, feather-like structures. As his gaze follows up to a heavy pedestal on which stands Soul Tenebrous, wings spread, dripping the blood and viscera of your companions and his as he steps forward and then seems to freeze in time. A voice that sounds not unlike Shadowfire's echoes around as it says, "You know, he's not that different from the two of us." You can hear and feel the rumble of Shadowfire's growl as he steps forward and says, "I am tired of your games." And the voice answers mockingly, "Well, we wouldn't have to play them if you would let me have control." And almost as if something reflexively noticed you, you were launched from the orb as it turns even further opaque.
As I'm done dream walking for the night.
Okay. Everybody roll perception.
Wisdom is +3.
Paige, you get advantage.
There's a way to force advantage roll, but +5. But I don't know how to do it, so 23.
So looks like everybody passed. So
Oh, wow.
you guys hear the sound of banging from downstairs, and it disrupts y'all's sleep as you can hear banging followed by a lot of shouting as doors are. You can hear the sound of doors being slammed open. What do?
Quillian grumbles and turns over before falling back asleep.
So, what does the rest of the party do?
I think I would be making my way downstairs.
Okay.
I'll make sure that the egg is safe and then go and check it out.
Same.
Claude's gonna get ready for if anything does happen, but then go downstairs with whoever goes.
Okay. Fair, what is Fallfire doing?
I will also be ready for things and go downstairs.
Is anybody dragging Quillian with you? Yes or no?
Yeah, sure, why not? I grab his drunk ass out too.
So you guys get down the stairs and recognize the regalia of the city guard as a group of no less than 15 individuals have they are shouting and at a pair of orcs, and they see you come downstairs and tell you one of them toes up to you is a fairly stout Duragar. And I'm talking like he's about as wide as he is tall, and looks like if a mountain fell on him, he would just kind of scratch it like an itch. He is built like a short mountain. This dude is all muscle, as he stomps up and says, "Citizenry proof now."
I show off the proof of me being an acolyte.
He looks at the suckers, pokes them a couple times, and says, "Go back to your room."
I do the same. I just give him a look with my
Your special eyes?
Yes,
Yes.
my squid eyes.
You're good to go. He also looks at Fallfire, notes the wings, and says, "You as well."
I present my library card.
He looks at the library card, looks at you, looks at the library card again, and says, "Do I look like I am an idiot? That is a library card, not a proof of citizenry. You are obviously not a citizen. What is your purpose here?"
Hmm. How many people are in front of me right now?
The rest of the guards seem to be focused on basically doing the same thing to everybody else in the tavern.
How many guards are there?
All told, there's a total of 15 of them.
Okay.
Too many fucking guards.
I have a quick question. If I were to cast Seeming on the remainder of our party to give them all tentacle feet, would there be like a flash that shows there's some debauchery going on? Or if I
You're
Or
also
could I
assuming that there's not a mage somewhere in the guards that would know that you were attempting to do something like that.
Or who
Yeah.
knows? They might have true seeing too.
Hey, can I try something?
Well,
You're like barely
mage is currently the one getting yelled at. I wouldn't necessarily suggest interjecting.
Well, I think I might be able to try and help some with that. Like,
Well, if you think you can get away with it.
okay. So who's the one carrying me again?
You're
I am.
you. Well,
Oh.
if he understood what was going on, you probably got dumped on the floor.
Yeah.
So Quillian picks himself up off the floor with an horribly angry expression on his face, and just slowly stalks up to the leader that confronted us, and he says this: "Listen here, we have been through heck trying to get into this place, and we've been going through heck while in here. We've lost our cars because of some muggers, and I just got hung over because I needed to get over that. And you do not just wake me up for doing that. We lost our cards, and we have been trying to get them back. That is why we only have the library cards for some of us. Do you understand that?"
The dwarf looks at you, and his skin color is gray, but he's starting to turn black as he looks at you and says, in a surprisingly calm and even tone, and says, "Was I talking to you yet?"
No, you weren't. But you were talking to my friend, and in my opinion,
And
we can...
he interrupts you and says, "Then get back in line!"
Oh, so you want to play those cards, huh?
So, at this
I have the
point,
feeling of
another pair of guards have noticed both our orcs as they come and stand behind him.
I have the feeling that the knockout of Quillian is about to happen.
And
So,
one of them asks in a very thick accented voice, "Is there a problem here?"
Quillian,
The other one doesn't say anything but cracks his knuckles very loudly.
Quillian calms down a little. You can hear the anger in his voice, but his expression is a lot calmer now, and says, "I'm sorry, sir. I did not mean to interrupt you, but you were simply asking us to explain, and I have an explanation, so I was willing to give it to you, so you could get what you wanted."
He looks at you and says, "Yes, but I was not asking you yet. You will wait your turn."
"All right, sir. All right. I'll wait. I will wait. So you can just calm down." And he stalks back next to Ellis.
So Sawtooth steps forward and says, "I'm I'm sorry about him, but all of these they're all with me. It's true, we did get mugged and had our card stolen. We're in the process. You know how it can be, the bureaucracy, long lines at the. You know how it is, but it is true. It was a very quick and fast mug. It's embarrassing. I don't really know how someone was able to pull a fast one on me, especially, but that is what happened, and they're all with me. So
Gaster also steps next to you and says, "Some of them are here to convert, so I would imagine that the necromancer would be very displeased if you were to damage specimens." At this, the Duragar's face goes from the angry black to a unnatural shade of gray-white as he stutters something and says good day and shoos the orcs off. And as he is about to turn to leave, he turns back and says, "Oh, just a warning. We are looking for a group of individuals. Apparently, some of them are powerful mages and others are flaming elementals, and they unfortunately have managed to kill Professor Bea Holden."
Oh no.
it has a shocked expression on his face.
Looks mortified.
Quillian just puts back on his angry expression. Like, totally pissed off, doesn't want to deal with anything right now.
I still look like a deer in headlights.
He shoos you guys off as he goes off to pull his drill sergeant to act on another group of, this time it appears to be goblins.
Oh, they'd be scared shitless.
So, as you guys are headed back upstairs, Gaster steps back to Quillian and says, "It's not normally a good idea to tell them what you had. For all we know, they have medallions or tattoos that denote citizenry."
It would have been better to say our proof of citizenship instead of a specific.
While I admire your attempt, you need to be more careful with how you word things.
So Quillian just looks at Gaster for a good 10 seconds before he again puts on his calm expression and says this. "In all due respect, Gaster, and this is just because I'm angry and hungover, piss off!" And he walks back upstairs.
Gaster just kind of watches him go and shrugs before heading back to the room with Lena and Shadowfire.
That was a close call.
I'm going to watch what's going on down here to see what kind of proof of citizenship that they do have.
So as you're watching, the majority seem to be getting off on things like, tentacles and other, added body parts. There's a couple of undead they don't even bother questioning. But there is a group of ponies that was down there that present what look like to be some sort of medallion. And they take it and pull out a device of some sort that they slot it into, and after a few seconds they clear them.
Okay, I go back up to my room.
Okay. It is now morning. What do?
Oh, go down to have breakfast.
Quillian stays in bed.
Yes, Quillian is hungover and was woken up at what was effectively 2 a.m. I'd imagine that Paige is probably not terribly well rested either.
Oh.
So, what does everybody
It's
get?
that dream walk. Tricky business, that.
Potentially dangerous if you don't know what you're doing.
Let's see.
Considering the events of last night, I don't think it wise to stay here much longer.
Probably not.
Changing base of operations to another location.
Probably would be something that they've already looked at.
The
Or a place that they wouldn't think to look.
if I'm not wrong, I don't believe very many people can go into the churches.
I can go in the church, but I guess.
Hmm.
I really don't like it in there.
I
Don't
get my
exactly
normal.
look my best in there either.
Mm-hmm.
Are we ordering breakfast?
Well, yeah, I'll have breakfast. I'll do the porridge. Yes.
Okay. So
Sawtooth gets the Hellfire chicken, but with blood instead, with the substitution.
okay.
So he puts down another gold piece. It says keep the change.
Yeah, and I get myself a porridge as well.
Okay.
Hellfire chicken like usual.
This time I'm gonna go with the oyster and mushroom salad.
Okay. So, does anybody
So-
want to do a thing?
When my food arrives, I look at the Hellfire chicken with the blood and lick my lips, and I comment, I never used to understand the whole blood replacement thing, but these past few days, I think I get it now. This is pretty good stuff. But I turn to Shadowfire, and I'm like, but I haven't been hungry in days. Is this like, is something wrong with me? Like, what's happening? I'm super confused.
Shadowfire, who is currently face first in a Hellfire chicken, looks up at you and, after a moment, swallows and says, "Usually I would have the same issue. Lately, though, I've found myself needing more and more food. More than likely, there is something else that sustains you."
I'm a changeling, so there's the love thing, but like at the same time, I haven't been feeling any of that recently either. No offense to anyone here.
Gaster, who's sitting next to a Shadowfire on the other side, comments, If my theories are correct, you actually sustain yourself off of souls."
Whose souls?
He shrugs and says, "I would assume the souls of those you slay."
Like Professor Bea Holden.
His,
But wait,
he says his would be a more powerful one that would sustain you for longer, but yes.
oh. So if I stop slaying people, which eventually I plan on, what does that mean for do I have to keep killing people to survive? Is that basically what this is?
Gaster shrugs and says, like I said, if my theory is correct, you would need souls to sustain yourself. However, as no one else here, aside from myself, generally needs them, building up a stock while you are here is possible. However, it is not a thing that will last for however long you survive.
Wait, what do you mean?
Gaster rubs a hoof over the bridge of his snout and says, if What I am guessing is correct. You have become what is known as a lich. Something not too dissimilar from myself. The undeath kind of gives it away. He gestures at in your general direction, and he continues saying, when it comes to things like that, we tend to have lifespans with no end unless somebody puts an end to it.
Oh gosh. Like immortality? Like Celestia and Luna?
Gaster nods.
Oh my gosh. But like, it's not quite the same as before though, because everything's sort of like blah. Everything sort of feels like, ugh. I don't know. It's not. It's like gray, sort of. Like, is that just a temporary thing that I'm adjusting to? Like, Gaster, you said you're undead too, right? So is it kind of like, is that the new norm or something?
He chuckles dryly and nods, saying, "You get used to it eventually. I'd imagine that at one point that I did as well."
On one hand, I feel determined to keep going on as I am because of the advantages it could pose against Soul Tenebris. But on the other hand, I still feel like I want to reverse this and go back to my old life as a changeling. Is that possible?
He shrugs and says, "It depends on the exact mechanism of the spell that transformed you. In some cases, it takes literal acts from deities. In others, it's as simple as a resurrection. However, you would die of any wounds that you had sustained beforehand, if that were the case."
I'll try not to sustain any wounds then. But I mean, everything is the same in that, like, I'm still fighting for Equestria, but I don't really feel the need to. I think the need to. Like, I know it's the right thing to do, but like, I don't have that passion, the feeling that I'm fighting for my home, and I kind of miss that. But I'm not going to give up what I have because it could be really useful for Soul Tenebris, I think. But I really don't like. I don't like what's happening at the same time. I feel like I'm losing a part of me.
Shadowfire gives a snort and says, if I were you, I would hold on to what you have left with everything you have. Lose it, and you'll lose yourself."
How do I do that?
He shrugs and says, "It's different for everyone." He points to Gaster and says, "He buries himself in his studies and magic, and I just look for places, peaceful, quiet ones to stay." His tone goes a lot more sorrowful, and you can see like a sadness in his eyes as he says this. And then he points to your companions and says, "Do what you can to protect them. If you don't, and you lose them, you will lose part of yourself. It's not easy to make friends as an immortal. And the ones that you do have, they're gone all too soon."
Tooth is sort of thinking to himself, not knowing how to reply, and after a few moments says, "I'll keep that in mind."
Before both of them stand up, Shadowfire looks at you and says, "I may not be much for this whole friend thing. In fact, I can count." And he looks at a hoof and says, "I would say on one hand, but I can only say that I have very few friends." However, if you need someone to talk to for the things that they cannot understand, he points to Gaster. He and I have been dealing with this for... He looks at Gaster, and Gaster says, "Don't ask me. I'm not thinking about how old I am right now." And he shrugs and says, "A long time. We may be able to answer some of your questions."
In that case, I do have one thought. One more question. The other day, fighting the professor, when I was off at the pylon, and that's sort of what caused all this. But the energy that just had me on the floor, just like it was. Is that something that I should I do that again and get more power, or is it not worth it? I'm not sure.
They look at each other, and Gaster says, "That is not a choice we can make for you. It is one that you'll have to make for yourself. No matter what you do, there will be consequences. It's just a question of which ones you are prepared to take."
Understand.
And with that, they go looking for Lena. So, yes, DM is starting to feel this one again. You gotta love these overly emotional ones. So, we got a question. Do we want to continue going forward, or do we want to call it for this session and then pick up with, like, from here?
I don't mind either way.
Yeah, I could go both ways as well.
Okay. What about the rest of y'all?
I'm free for another 2 hours.
I think we could end this because my phone dying and my laptop is just mixed gone for tonight. So
And there has been a lot that's happened in this.
Yeah,
It's been a dense session.
It's a dense session, not a long
think-
session.
Ellis may be having some issues with power as well.
Yeah, we have a good chunk
Yeah,
of party with power or other issues.
So,
Yeah, my internet just died, and my computer is like at 5%, and I'm on my phone now.
okay.
So
I'm going to go ahead and say we're going to put a pin in it for tonight. And for those of you that may or may not still be listening, I need to check and make sure I did the thumbnail, actually. Oh, wait, we did. We're good. So for those of you who may or may not still be listening, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring the notification bell, and that'll help you to keep up to date with all of the uploads and streams that we do. Just a bit of a warning, Wednesdays is now our upload date. We will be doing one video per week. So keep an eye out for that. And then every Saturday and Sunday, we will do the Peacemakers and Lost Memories. So a lot of big things planned for both of those, so you don't want to miss it. If you're enjoying all of this and would like to support me and the channel, then go ahead and check out my Patreon. For those of you that do that, the $5 tier, you'll be able to, after the session, have a discussion with the players, and then after that, the $10 tier, they get a shout out. And I'm going to go ahead and do that for the current ones, which would be Gilded Page, Haxros, Ellis Xander, Starglow, and Sawtooth.
Great.
So, everybody, have a great evening and drink water.
Hydrate or dihydrate.